Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Today we're looking at ABVE. The big question is it a good time to buy now?
We want to hear from you. Subscribe, like, and comment to support the show. And if there's a specific company you want us to look into, leave it in the comments below.
So let's get into the analysis. We're looking at the company formerly, mostly known as Above Food Ingredients. And I think to really grasp where it might be heading, you got to look at where it started, It began as a player in sustainable food. Their original edge, it was quite interesting actually, focused on regenerative agriculture, making these bespoke ingredients. And they leveraged this vertically integrated supply chain across a few different countries. The whole idea was to tap into that long-term demand for sustainable plant-based stuff.
Right. That sounds very much like the kind of investment story we heard a lot back in, say, 2021. But the reality, the execution seems like it's been pretty tough. When you look at the numbers for that core food business in 2023, the fundamentals, well, they show some serious strain. Revenue actually dropped, declined over 7%, landing at CAD 368.42 million. That's down from, CAD 396 million the year before?
Yeah, exactly. And the profitability piece, that's really where the pressure built up, forcing their hand, you could say. The costs tied to that integrated model, especially, the investment needed for regenerative farming. It seems like it really squeezed the margins. Net income ended up being a pretty big loss, minus CAD 53.31 million.
Wow.
And that wasn't just a loss. It was actually a 17.2% worse loss than the year before.
Okay, so that's good. That's definitely a company facing some headwinds, trying to run uphill. They're trying cost management, trying to stop the bleeding. But that market for ingredients, even the sustainable ones, it's competitive, it's kind of slow moving. And this context, it's really crucial, right? Because it explains why they made such a dramatic pivot. They were kind of running out of options in the food business alone.
Precisely. And frankly, the financial details we have publicly on just that segment, they're limited. We don't have solid analyst guidance, detailed debt figures, or, free cash flow numbers readily available. It makes it tough to gauge the real underlying health. But the numbers we do have, there were flashing warning signs, big ones. The company needed something totally different, real transformation, just to stay afloat, let alone grow.
Okay, let's unpack this transformation then. Because the story for ABVE now, it's shifted, hasn't it? It's less about sustainable peas and more about digital assets. This huge news, this strategic pivot into financial innovation, focusing on asset tokenization, stable coins. This isn't some side hustle. It's a complete change for the company.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, total metamorphosis. And a remarkably ambitious one. This pivot happened incredibly fast, mostly in the second half of 2025. The main event was finalizing that reverse takeover of Palm Global Technologies back in August. That single move basically catapulted ABVE into the global finance scene almost overnight.
Hold on a sec. So a company losing $53 million selling, like you said, sustainable ingredients suddenly is dealing with a pipeline of, $1.5 trillion in assets. How does that scale even work? And maybe more importantly, how reliable is that figure?
Well, it's possible because of what Palm Global brought into the deal. The merger immediately put $350 billion in existing gold-backed assets onto their balance sheet.
Okay, $350 billion existing.
Right. But the really eye-popping number, the $1.5 trillion, that represents the access they gained to underlying real-world assets earmarked for future stablecoin projects. It's not cash in the bank today, it's potential. But, it signals institutional level scale that's just worlds away from the traditional food business.
So the whole investment thesis flipped. It went from can they grow their organic food sales to can they actually pull off a multi-trillion-dollar digital finance transformation?
That needs more than just tech, right? It needs serious institutional backing, credibility.
And they've been working on securing that. They got a $20 million investment structured as a convertible note at $2.50 as a share from Aqua One Foundation. That's a significant player in the Web3 space. So it's a pretty serious vote of confidence for people who understand this blockchain world, injecting capital right when they need it for this pivot.
But the scale of this,
yeah,
especially the gold-backed stablecoin idea, that feels like it moves beyond just finance. It starts touching on geopolitics, doesn't it?
It certainly has that dimension. And look how strategically they're setting it up. There's that new joint venture with the government of Burkina Faso and Palm Promax, which is based in Abu Dhabi. The stated goal is to anchor a stablecoin backed by gold and other minerals. So it directly links the physical asset, the tech platform, and crucially, sovereign involvement. Right. And the changes to the boards seem to underscore that global institutional focus completely, bringing Sheikh Mohammed bin Jumail Maktoum, Dubai royalty, onto the board. That's not just for show. It feels like a deliberate move to build trust and open doors to Middle Eastern capital, which seems really interested in this whole real-world asset tokenization space.
Exactly. It looks like they're building a strong regulatory and financial base in the Middle East, positioning themselves for global stablecoin operations. And importantly, amidst all this massive change, they managed to satisfy the NASDAQ listing requirements back in May and reconfirmed compliance in September 2025. Keeping that listing status secured during a complex reverse takeover and pivot like this is absolutely vital for institutional players.
Speaking of institutions, the near-term calendar looks absolutely critical. The next, 3 months could really define the direction for this stock.
Yeah, November is definitely crunch time. First up, November 13th, 2025. That's the special shareholder meeting for the big merger vote. Word is, nearly 90% of Palm Global shareholders are already on board, so the expectation is that this vote finalizes the deal. That immediately brings those huge assets officially onto the books.
So that's basically make or break, isn't it? If that vote somehow fails, the whole fintech story just evaporates. You're left holding the original struggling food business. Anyone buying in now is likely assuming that no 13th vote is a done deal.
Almost certainly. Then, just 2 weeks later, November 27th, we get the Q3 2025 earnings report. This will be the first real look under the hood financially after the merger announcement. Investors are going to be laser-focused on integration costs. They'll want to see early signs of how that massive asset base is being handled, how it might be monetized. It's a key test of management's ability to actually execute this massive shift.
Okay, then shifting into December and January, the focus moves more towards ownership structure, right? Around December 20th, 2025, that's supposedly when the institutional buy window opens up. Big funds often wait until major corporate actions like this merger are fully buttoned up, legally speaking, before taking large positions.
That's typically the pattern, yes. That date could mark a shift from more speculative trading to potentially larger, steadier institutional investment flows. And following that, just after New Year's, January 5th, 2026, is ETF rebalancing time. Given ABVE's radical shift into digital finance, there's potential for inclusion in new sector-specific ETFs. If that happens, it usually forces those funds to buy shares to match the index, which can cause a spike in trading volume and volatility. Changes the whole liquidity picture.
And we shouldn't entirely forget the roots, I suppose. January 6, 2026, there's a seasonal update on holiday ingredient demand. Feels minor compared to the fintech stuff, but it's still a check-in on that original food segment. Shows if management can juggle both the old business and this revolutionary new direction.
Good point. Now, let's pivot quickly to the technicals. With all this change in volatility, the recent price floating around $4.22, it definitely shows the market is wrestling with how to value this thing.
So the RSI is neutral, but the MPD is flashing by. How much weight can you put on technicals when the company's fundamentals just did a complete 180?
Well, it kind of reflects the core conflict perfectly, doesn't it? The RSI, the Relative Strength Index, sitting neutral around 50.59, suggests momentum has sort of stalled while everyone digests the news. But the MPD, the Moving Average Convergence Divergence, that's showing a short-term buy signal at 0.18.
So the charts themselves are saying investors are split. It's either a massive opportunity based on this huge fintech potential, or it's just too uncertain because executing this merger is so complex.
And that leads us right into the risk versus reward. Right now, the investment case seems to hang almost entirely on them pulling off this merger smoothly and then successfully rolling out that tokenization strategy. The potential upside becoming a major player in global stablecoins is, well, potentially huge, exponential.
But the risks feel equally large, especially when you remember the struggles they had making the food business profitable. If they stumble on the execution, or if regulators throw up roadblocks for the stablecoin plans, the stock could get hit hard.
The one potential buffer, though, is the fact that they do still have that diversified operation, sort of. The sustainable food part, even if it's struggling and much smaller now relative to the potential fintech scale, it still exists. It offers a tiny bit of insulation from just pure crypto or fintech market swings.
Makes sense. And of course, with a massive pivot into a hot area like digital assets, you're going to get speculative buzz, right? What are the main rumors floating around?
Yeah, the market chatter is definitely active. Two main things seem to be cropping up. First, there's ongoing speculation that ABVE is close to tying up with a major established U.S. bank for digital asset custody. If that happens, it would be a huge credibility boost, especially for satisfying regulators about the stablecoin operations.
Okay, a traditional finance partnership. What else?
On the product side, the word on the street is they might be pushing for an early launch of the gold-backed stablecoin, possibly sooner than originally planned.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
keeping that international angle, there are also rumors about pursuing a secondary listing over in Abu Dhabi, probably on the ADGM, the Abu Dhabi Global Market. Listing there would be a very strategic play to attract capital from the Middle East, where investors seem quite keen on tokenization plays.
So when you boil it down, the company's really got two potential futures playing out. Path one is the long-term, maybe slower growth in sustainable food, possibly through M&A or expanding geographically. Path two is the high-risk, high-reward bet on becoming a major digital asset platform through tokenization. Much higher potential return, but way more volatile.
That's a good summary. And combining those elements, the sort of steady tailwinds from sustainable food, plus the revolutionary potential of the fintech side, the source we looked at gives it a final bullish rating, a 7 out of 10. They see it as interesting for both short-term traders playing the upcoming merger vote and earnings,
Yeah.
and also for long-term investors betting on that dual exposure to sustainable trends and the potentially massive growth in digital assets.
Right. The technicals show the market's divided and the fundamentals just got completely rewritten. The ultimate question for you, the listener, seems to be not just if they can pivot, but can they manage this incredibly complex transition without completely destabilizing the small food business that offers their only real anchor outside the crypto world right now?